travel, a lot of flights, so I have my laptop with me. So very, very good football team. Big, big physical O-line, very good running back. That's definitely the strength of their team offensively. And very capable quarterback, like to stretch the field with long receivers, a lot of big play capability. So, they obviously coming in the last part of the season, very highly ranked and a lot to play for. And so didn't probably finish the way they wanted to. But the games are, and they're focused on those and very competitive games that came down to the wire. And extremely talented on special teams, the #1 punter in the nation, and great returners. So very, very challenging for us in those two areas, their offense and their special teams. And then defensively, extremely aggressive, very physical in the box, and a lot of length about them. So I think it's a really good football team, obviously top 20 team. So we will have to be at our very, very best.
How odd is it for you to look at an opponent and not just be looking at their offense?
Yeah, well, definitely different in the time frame we're dealing with, because it goes from the last time they played, playing Purdue, that's all I focused on. Obviously, the very next opponent, everything changes, So for this situation here, very big adjustment pretty quickly, and so we're making it right now, but it's been good.
Thoughts on the way your team is working? I mean, they don't play for another 18 days, but are they working with the kind of intensity you want them to?
Love the energy. I mean, it's been really very encouraging, and I think that it just speaks to the character of our leadership and the guys here that have been in the bowl game last year, and I think I know they were very excited to be in that situation and came up short. And so it kind of gives you a feel for, hey, we're in another one, we're excited about it, we want to go win this one. So I think there's that sense of urgency about them with that, even though we do have to, as you said, there's several days left, so you got to be careful as you kind of balance out the calendar to be able to not do too much too soon. But been really, really encouraged by how hard we've practiced. We have a bunch of recruits today, and I said, hey, you tell me what you think of this practice. And they threw out words like, man, great intensity. They're like, coach, it was so physical. I just love the way the guys, the tempo of the offense, tempo of the defense, and all the things you hope they see. And I agree with you. That's what I saw myself. So very, very good day.
So I know that how the players react. I mean, there's always going to be some trauma with the transition. That's just inevitable. How have they handled it from your point of view, emotionally, in other ways?
Yeah, I think it was hard in the beginning. Day one when it all went down, and I had a chance to be with them. That Thursday. I think there was, it was hard. And we were very, transparent with them, and I was real with them, and just spoke from the heart. And so, but I think in time they've been, coaches talked to a lot of them, and which has been good, and so I just think that as I shared with them, hey, he believed in me and he brought me here, just like he did with you, and so I said we share that, and we're gonna finish what he and all of us started.
How much do you focus on the offense, or do you kind of let those guys do their thing, or how do you divide it?
Yeah, but right now I would say I'm focusing on the defense. What I like to do, and even again today in practice, a couple of guys when the offense made a play, I was excited for them. Defensive guys give me a hard time, So, but that's kind of fun. But at the same time, I want them to be able to have the freedom to run the offense. I'm just going to help control the situations, how we practice it, and then also just all I'll be involved in is basically situations of going for it on fourth down, just decisions like that we need to be able to make, and that affect the whole team. So, but as far as game planning and scheming and calling plays, I believe in this, and it's no different with our guys. We divide up our staff defensively, and I believe that you hire really good people. You surround yourself with quality people that understand the vision that you want, and you empower them to do their job. And so I don't like to micromanage, even as a defensive coach, with our assistants and their area of responsibilities. I want them to coach. Now, if I see something I don't like, we'll always come in and get it corrected, but which hasn't happened very often. But I just feel like that it's not going to be any different. That's my philosophy of leadership, and I think that empowers people to be able to be at their very best.
I know that you weren't here last year, but do you get the sense that the guys learned last year the right way to approach a bowl game, and they're kind of like acting on the lessons they learned last year?
I think so. I think anytime you have a chance to experience something, it's going to allow you to be better the next time. There's things that you say, I would like to do this a little bit differently. Even as a staff, we've talked about some of those things that you do in your schedule, in the way that you approach your practices, how long you practice, how intense are your practices, and how soon do you start working on the opponent. All those kind of things you learn from, and you feel like, hey, we thought we might have done this. And even I know for myself, even in previous bowls, and I thought we did some things last year, even that I said, hey, I don't want to do that again. or even in other places I've been talking to some other head coaches already, and hey, we learned a lesson from this. And so I think our guys, because they experienced it last year, there's definitely some things that we know we need to do differently.
In respect to coaching, kind of what has Coach Watson brought in terms of both what he's bringing to the QBs and also maybe just adding that extra sort of body on the staff and all?
Well, obviously in recruiting it's huge because it's another person out there. You want to get your full staff on the road, and that way you can cover more ground. And just his expertise at the quarterback position has been huge. Because really, as in his role before, he's not allowed to instruct the players on the field, and so that's now he can because he's in an official on the field role. So I think that all his experience that he has at the quarterback position is really going to be very, very good for us. And I'm excited for him to be able to be on the field for us and be able to get those guys coached up.
From a recruiting standpoint, as you look ahead, what do you tell offensive recruits about what kind of offense you're going to run?
And I've been asked that, and obviously you expect them to. And so sitting with parents in their homes, and to me, I'll tell them this. I say, we want to run the football. I don't care what kind of system that you run, we got to run the football. And at that point also, I believe you have to have the tempo piece is what I know from a defensive side of the ball. That's what gives us trouble. And not that you're going fast all the time, but the ability to go fast and the ability to change that tempo. So to me, that phrase is something I'm going to use quite a bit because I believe in that offensively. And then also the word balance. I think our offense has done a good job in the past of throwing the football extremely well. But when you watch Indiana play on offense, they always ran the ball. And that's where I feel like that we got to do a better job of finishing those runs this year, protecting the football, and being great in the red zone. And that's going to be our emphasis for the bowl game. And I tell that to our recruits as well. And so, but I'm a tempo spread guy. I really believe in that. I believe in that system. I believe in what we do here. I've been with those types of head coaches the last several stops that I've had, and I've learned as a defensive coach to complement that with the way that we play on our side of the ball. So that is, so I don't see a lot of change coming in how you see us play. I do feel like that obviously when you get third down and short, we got to be better. And those are things we're going to emphasize here between now and the bowl game because that's how you win games. It's about what can you do to win the football game, not have the most yards or score. It's about how do we win the football game as a team because that's at the end of the day our goal.
What does having 2 All-Americans mean to this program?
We addressed it today in the team meeting, and I think it's a tribute to what Coach Wilson has done offensively with Dan on that side of the ball. And then as I talked to our defensive guys, they said, that's the first linebacker since 1987. And as I was able to share, that's a team award. T-Grade gets recognized for that, but I told these guys when I first got here, when our defense plays well, you'll get recognized individually, and that's how it works. And so I really, really am excited for him, but I'm excited for our defense, and it just gives the other guys, confidence to know, hey, we're putting a product out there, and we got several guys that are getting recognized, and both in the conference and abroad, and I think that's a tribute to the way these guys have bought in and the way they performed on Saturdays defensively, and that's something that obviously in the past has been lacking. And so we attack that as a defense, and the kids are responding, and now they're being rewarded, which is awesome.
Coach, you mentioned special teams in your introductory press conference. What are you doing to fix that? Is it a scheme thing, a personnel issue?
Well, right now we're working on fundamentals of special teams. When we break off into each group and we do them, in our practices, the emphasis is going to be is be able to make sure fundamentally that we're getting better in our technique for each one of those special teams. It's not so much right now scheme the emphasis is going to be on. It's going to be individual technique for kickoff cover, for kickoff return, for punt return. And I think that's where I'm a back to basics fundamentals kind of guy defensively, and that's what my approach is as a team. And so therefore special teams will be no different.
Talking about T-Grade, how much of a point of pride is that for you? Just that's a group you really pushed when you got here, the linebackers.
I did.
See you and have the year together.
Yeah, and I'm a linebacker guy. That's kind of been, as I said in the beginning, I've played the position. I've coached it most of my career, and take a lot of pride in that group. And I said in the beginning, if you want to be great on defense, you better have great linebackers and great linebacker play. So to be able to see him recognize and see the level that Marcus played tremendous this season, and so that's what I expect. And like I said, that position demands leadership and it demands production. And they've elevated their leadership, and their production has been right alongside that. So it really is. It makes me feel great to know that these guys are being recognized for something that we put an emphasis on, and I know it defines a defense, and so it's pretty awesome.
Go ahead, Matt.
Going forward, you're talking about the offense and offensive recruiting. I know as a head coach, you have obviously final say so on offers, and kind of personnel, but do you have a preference as far as maybe quarterback? Do you prefer the dual threat, or is a pocket passer okay, or does it really
Well,
matter?
here's what I would just say. You know, my whole thing is this, and I always look at it from a defensive perspective, okay? Because that's how we're going to attack the opponent. And that is, I want a guy that can extend the play. All right, that to me is the key. You know, be able to extend the play, if you can force the defensive line to account for you, that's all you need. Okay, because you can get in trouble with if you can be dual guy and you get yourself beat up, you know, it can be a problem. You know, and the teams that are just straight dual quarterback guys, you know, they have to have 2 or 3 of those to be able to last throughout the season, especially in this league because there's such physical play. And so we kind of saw the same thing, you know, in the SEC, and that's why in the NFL it's a challenge to keep that guy healthy. And so for me, I like the balance that we have here. You know, I just feel like that, but you have to be able to extend that play. So when you talk about recruiting that position, that's what we're looking for, is a guy that has the ability to do that, and therefore they can't just rush 4 and feel good about it. That's what I don't want.
Do you, in recruiting, will you expand the base at all? Will you still kind of do the same geographic areas you did before, or are you going to maybe go further south or something like, or more south?
Well, you know, if you look at our team right now, and matter of fact, if you look at the 2018 board, there's a heavy emphasis on, you know, we're going to attack the Midwest, but Georgia and Florida are heavily hit right now, and they should be. So to me, that's not going to change. You know, and I see us maybe going a little bit more into Texas possibly, but I don't know that it's going to be a lot different. You know, because right now we have relationships built in the areas that our coaches are working in, and to me that's the key. So, you know, if I had to say South, Georgia and Florida are huge for us. They are right now, and that's not going to change. As a matter of fact, that might even increase a little bit. But I'm always going to say the foundation, the core, has got to be in the Midwest, and I believe in that.
As far as a current player perspective, I mean, have you had any conversations with those guys about NFL in the future, things like that, those underclassmen, or is that something, a decision or conversation that won't be had until after the
No,
game?
we basically said we weren't going to talk about it till after the Purdue game. You know, we've talked about it as a staff for a while, and that's another attribute to the success we're having here. And we get kids that get to that point in their career where they have to make that choice, and that's a good thing. And so we just basically say, and we met with them. I met with them and just talk them through the process, and we're going to help them make the best decision for them. And that's really my approach to that. And I want what's best for them. You know, but the thing is, you have to go through and look at it from an objective perspective, collect all the information that they need, sit down with them, and then the next step is for me to meet with their parents and go over all the things that we've collected, and then together, and at the end of the day, just like in recruiting, they got to decide what's best for them, and this is the same situation. They got to decide what they really want to do. So we'll support them either way.
Any of your injured guys have a chance to come back?
You know, don't know for sure. Right now, I can't say that anybody will that has been out. I know there's possibly some guys, and I'll update you on that as soon as I know. But right now, it's still a work in progress. But we'd like to get a couple guys back if we could.
What's Camion's status? I don't think he played in the Purdue game.
Yeah, he's just trying to get healthy. You know, he's just kind of, it's been a longer process. I think he was one, you know, so, but I think he's making progress. You know, I don't know exactly what was happening before the Purdue game, you know, why he didn't play as much, but I do know that he's not what he was when I first got here, you know, so I think he need a full cycle to get back to where he would like to be and where we would like for him to be. So he's obviously a guy that I spend a lot of time talking with because I think he's pretty special, you know, so we just got to get him healthy.
Given, you know, what you have coming back next year, do you have any notion about whether you would look at him mainly as a running back or a wideout?
I like him as a running back. Yeah. So we've actually already had that conversation. So I think he agrees.
All right, thanks, Kyle.